What's up, everyone? This is Matt Mrozik, and this will be work in progress number 6 on the 1/4 scale Narin Hell Boy I'm doing for a new client. And I'm actually, even though it doesn't look like it, I've gotten a lot done this weekend. I've had the house myself all weekend, and I've been doing nothing but working on this kit. I've taken all of like 2 breaks to get something to eat. And even though I put in a full 8-10 hours yesterday, I'm going on 8 hours today, I'm going to put a few more hours in. Doesn't look like I've gotten much done, but I actually have. Give me 1 second, I'm going to get all the parts that I've finished. Because I've got a lot of questions about some stuff. And we'll drop this as usual. And I'm going to get the upper torso because that part is done. And I'm going to get the horns. I'm not going to bring the cutoff horns over because they're done, but I'm not going to put them in. And I got the tail. All right. So, put my microphone back on. So what you're looking at right now, which I just finished, is the 2-tone brown leather on the pants. And the main reason my client got this kit is because of the belt. So I'm slow as it is, but I'm going really slow on the belt. And I just finished the 2-tone leather. So what we got going on here is I showed that stippling technique the other night in a live broadcast. Let me get this on a turntable so we can see it. My bench is a wreck because it got paint stuff everywhere. So I showed a little live broadcasting the other, I guess it was yesterday. It was yesterday on doing the stippling to get this kind of leather look going on. After I did that, I went in, I post shaded with clear leather tan from Garage Kits US. Let me clear some stuff out because I'm going to end up breaking something, or it's just so messy. And then I went and I mixed up, I didn't have a paint color that I liked for the trim. So I went ahead and I mixed up a custom color, and it turned out exactly what I was going for. Kind of a yellowish light tan leather look. So it looks really, really good. And I just went in and finished up doing the panel lines, or not really panel lines, all the grooves, stuff. So next step on this belt is to, let me see if I get to focus on the model and not the background. The camera wants to focus on something with the hard line, so it wants to focus on the background because of all my stuff back there. So the next step is going to be, I need to find out from Leo. I'm going to paint this piece right here all metal. And then I've seen other photos where this whole piece right here is metal, but I don't know if I like that. I think that's a too big piece of a metal. So what I may do is paint this like upper part and the outside part metal and have this like it's a leather insert. I think we could do that. I think it's just too much metal in one spot. But this looks like this should be metal with rivets, so I'm going to do that. And that will get all hand painted. I could mask it and spray it, but one thing I like about the hand painting, especially on a subject like this, it kind of looks like hammered metal because it's not perfectly smooth, and I kind of like that look. I got the tail right here. We'll put that on. And now, unfortunately with the tail, the way this works is that the way it has to go in is you have to kind of put it up and with it pointing up, and then you have to turn it down. So the paint does scrape off a little bit down there, Leo, but once it's on there, you don't see it. But that's just kind of how that works. I'll touch up the paint and everything before I send it to you, but don't be surprised if when you take it off, that paint gets scuffed up. But again, don't worry, it's you can't see it. So there's the tail. I'm not sure if I showed the horns already, but here are the horns all finished. We went with a, as you can see, a high gloss, and then fading the tips and the bases to black. So let me put him on because he looks awesome. And I'll back the camera up. And I'm probably going to end up gluing this together, even though I have a crap load of magnets in here and they were expensive. I'd just rather him be one solid piece. So I think I'm going to end up gluing him in. I don't know. Just less chance of the paint getting messed up. After all this work, you don't want to mess up the paint. Okay, so that's about as high as my camera's going to go right now, so I'll pan up to him. It's actually kind of a cool view anyway. So I'm going to get this light backed off because it's too bright. But there, man, this is the first time I've put him on the pants with the leather done, and it's looking really, really cool. I got the fist done. I got the eyes in yesterday. Unfortunately, these gloves have some powdering out on the outside, so every time I touch this, it gets a little bit of powder. It's no big deal, it wipes right off. And I also actually went in yesterday, and I found a couple little specks of dirt in my paint that I thought I'll just leave it there, but they bugged the crap out of me. I went ahead and one was right here. I was like, okay, well, I sanded that down, and I had to respray the red there, no big deal. And I actually went in and bumped up the shadow some more. The more I looked at it, I thought it needed a little more contrast. So I actually went in some more and bumped up the shadows a little bit more, and that's really popping now. I darkened the nipples just a little bit. You can see right there that this is darkened a little bit. I don't want it too dark because then it just looked kind of weird. I did go into some pastels and just very lightly add some shading to the veins. It's very subtle, but I can see it in person. I know you're not going to see it in camera, but it's there. It's very, very subtle. I'm going to actually come up and do this handheld, so it's going to be a little shaky. So, oh man, look, there's his eyes. They look so cool. And I have him with his head pointing down. It's like he's looking up, kind of peeking at you. I'm going to put the horns on real quick so we can get that whole effect. So give me a second to do that. Kind of on a jerry-rigged camera setup right now. I usually have a tripod, but it's down in the garage. Okay, I'm just going to put that in. These will come in and out for transport. Oh man, it just looks cool. If you don't like that, you don't like fried chicken on Sunday. But that is amazing to me. So to see his eyes, you really have to kind of get down here, but you can see he's kind of like, he's got his chin down, he's looking up at, like he's pissed off. The sculpt there, nailed it, man. It looks just like Ron Perlman. On the hair, I'm going to put a little more light on her. I went in and you can see around the edges, I made it to look like the hair is pulled nice and taut. And I dry brushed a little bit of red on it just to kind of give it some dimension. Added a little leather knot in the back. So that was done yesterday. So I had hoped to get the belt done today. It's not going to happen. I'd have to pull an all-nighter, and I got to work tomorrow. So as usual, things go slower than I anticipate. And hold on, sorry. Again, only the best videos for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the accessories I've got done. And the color's not, I wish the color on my phone was more accurate. Maybe when the video uploads, but this looks really, really green. It is not this green, trust me. It's a really nice warm leather with kind of yellowish tan leather trim. So the color I'm hoping will show up better when I publish this, but right now it looks like crap. So I apologize for that. But the fist I did the other day. That was a long process. I went in and I sprayed all the gold first. I did a layer of gold, and then I went in with some copper and bronze and faded that to the edges. Once that was done, I went in with some clear gold over the whole thing, then some clear copper just around the edges, and then I went some clear red around the edges, so 6 or 7 colors. Once that was done, I had to mask I had to let this sit overnight because there was a lot of paint on there. It was wet. I had to mask all those little ridges, all those little things with tape, and that took me a couple hours to do that just to mask it. And then I started off with a base coat of black and started sponging on different reds and different things like that. By the time it's kind of like a red stone look to it, and it looks really, really sharp. And then I went in with some clear reds and clear blacks to kind of bump up the shadows and stuff. So that looks really awesome. And then today, I want to get a preview. And here's the gun. This was done the other day. That looks so cool. So I got the darker leather here going against this lighter leather, and it's a really, really nice contrast. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it together like that. So Leo, that's an awesome combination right there, man. It looks really sick. Here are the little pouches, and I can actually put those on if I remember which pouch goes where. Let's see. It's not really specific, but I do have these pinned so they sit at a certain height. Again, these pins are going to be tight, so I probably won't push them on all the way because I don't want to get them stuck right now because I'm far from being done with the belt. So I'm just going to put them on a little bit, but you get the idea. That one's going to go there, I think. Again, I'm not pushing these on all the way just because I don't want to get them stuck at this point. That's going to go there. This is the first time I'm seeing all this stuff together and how it's working. So really, really happy. So a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you do commissions and ship models away? It's like, well, if I know going into it, knowing it's not my model, I don't have a problem with it. I've got to say, this is probably the first model that I've done as a commission that it's going to be hard to let go, because it's looking really, really good. I thought I did a good job on my captain. This guy's looking phenomenal in my opinion. So I just had the knife. Thought I did. What did I do with it? Where'd you go? Hold on. I had it on my workbench. Oh, here it is. I put it to the side so I wouldn't damage it. So here's the knife. And originally, my client, I showed him this kind of marbling effect, and it looked different the first time I showed him. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I want this leather and this. I forgot leather. I forgot what the combination was. Like, well, I kind of ignored him and said, too bad. I did what I wanted, and if you don't like it, I'll repaint it. And so I went for this kind of jade look, because it's got this kind of oriental feel to it. I mean, this kind of sculpt on the handle here, and I went with a bone handle. And so I got a lot of questions on how I did the jade look. So what I did is I first sprayed a layer of gold, then I went in with a sponge. And the best type of sponge I found is use a natural sponge. Don't use like a sponge you would use in the shower. Get a natural sponge. It's got much more texture to it. I sponged on some turquoise, some greens, some coppers, some bronze, and then I even stippled on some pure white. And then I just kind of went back and forth between all those colors. Once I got that kind of the way I went in with a clear green and just kind of blended it all in. And then I went over it last night with that automotive clear. And it's not super gloss, super slick, but that's okay because it's supposed to be like a natural stone. So I had thought about going there and sanding this and polishing it out, but I kind of like it because that's kind of what natural stone would be like anyway. So yeah, that's how I did that. And then all the metallics were hand painted. The handle was something I just kind of came up with a technique today. Let's see if I can show it in camera. The texture, because it does look like bone, real bone. And so what I did is I got a really shitty cheap brush. Let's see if I can find it. It's over here somewhere in my pile, in my mess. And I cut the bristles super, super short, really, really short. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry. Like I said, my area is a mess right now. But I want to show you this brush because this is what made this possible. If I can find it. Anyway, I took a brush, I cut the bristles really, really short, and then I cut kind of a V shape into the bristles so they weren't all the way across even. It's so frustrating that my work area is so messy I can't find it. So anyway, I made the bristles were really, really stiff. They didn't have any flex in them whatsoever. So I went in first and I sprayed Garage Kits colors, bone white. This thing is not wanting to focus. And then what I did is after the bone white, I took that really stiff bristle brush and I dipped it in some natural bone and I just scrubbed it on there. I mean, I scrubbed really, really hard. And what I did is I created a texture into the paint. Because if you look at bone, it's not smooth. It's got like little ridges in it. So I took that really stiff brush with that natural bone. I scrubbed really, really hard. Even going through the paint in some areas, just over and over again. And then I went in with some aged bone. I did that same thing. I scrubbed it in real, real, real hard. And it looked kind of messy. So I just kind of went back and forth those three colors with that really stiff brush to get those. I wanted to create ridges in the handle. I didn't want a smooth paint job. I wanted those ridges in there. Because then what I did is I went back with the bone white and I dry brushed it super, super light onto the handle. And it's not picking up in camera here, but this thing looks like it had been taken off a deer and then put in a handle. And I just went in some pastels to do some weathering. But man, this thing in person, I've impressed myself. It looks like bone. It's freaking amazing. So I showed this to Leo today and it's like, so what do you think? He's like, it's perfect. Like, I told you so. Don't ever doubt me. So yeah, there's that. Let's put that on. Let's see what that looks like. So far. Oh, and also I had the grenade. Where's the grenade? I got the grenade. And what else did I do? Hold on one second. My camera's crooked because again, I'm on a box. Oh, I got the grenade. And I'm not sure what this other thing is. It looks like a grenade too. I want to say it's a lighter, but I know it's not a lighter. So I got this guy done today. Lots of hand painting with all sorts of metallics. And then I went in with my airbrush and I sprayed some clear smoke to give it some dimension in some of those areas. So that's looking really, really sharp. And that's going to go right here. Again, I'm not going to push it in all the way because I got paint in there, and those holes have stiffened up. And then I got this guy done right here. And he's pretty simple. So I just kind of kept that gnarled steel at the bottom. And again, this is not showing up very well in camera because I put my glove in there, it darkens. And I just went in there and hand painted some details with some gold and stuff. So this guy's pretty simple, but it still looks good. And he's going to go there. So far, that's what his belt looks like. And I've got a long ways to go. I got to go in and paint all these buckles and everything. And then once that's all done, I have to go in and touch up all the black on the black pants, but that's not that big of a deal. What I'll do is I'll hand brush all around this area with the Style Rose primer because I don't want to mask all that stuff. And then once that's done, I'll work on the black pants. So that's where I am right now. And I couldn't be happier with him. He's looking really, really good. And like I said, this will be probably one of the first models I've done as a commission that I'm going to be sad to see go, because this is how I would want mine to look like, because I have this kit. This is what I would do to mine, and it looks really good. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. So far, Leo seems like he's happy with it, and we're going to keep going on. I'll work a couple more hours tonight. It's already 8:30 here, and I got to work in the morning, but I'll try to get some of these buckles done. Maybe I'll paint those big metal plates and then work on those. But I would say if I had like a full another day of nothing to do, I could get the belt done, and I could probably get the boots. I could probably get the lower half of him done, and then all I'd have to do is the base and the accessories. The boots are actually going to be relatively simple. There's a few things that we've talked about going back and forth. This has a bunch of details too. I'm gonna paint all these buckles metal and stuff. I may add a splash of color in there. There's a couple of boots we looked at that has some like blues. I probably won't do blue because that look really, really kind of weird on this kit, I think, with the way everything's going. But I don't know, maybe I'll throw a splash of color on just these two little spots, a really kind of muted color. There's a lot of black on here. And we've got these cool little rivets. So all these little details get painted metal. Yeah, so still a ways to go. And I'm on my second week of working on this kit, but he's looking good. I'm really happy with him. So thanks for watching as usual. It's Matt Mrozik. Catch you guys next time. Bye.